Hello, dear educators. Now it's time to prepare the student for the final board assessment CBSE. If the student is preparing for CBSE Grade 10 examination, then my video, question paper analysis for science, will definitely come handy to the student. Question paper analysis for the segment A was done earlier and the video is posted. However, we'll give the link in the description box for the question paper analysis of segment A. Now, let us analyze the section B and further sections which are there in the science question paper. We will stick to physics and chemistry, and biology. You can find it in another video. Now, I shall share the screen to you all to make the question paper visible. Now we can see that section B, there are questions from question number 21 to 26, and they are very short answer questions. If we have to identify the type of each of the following reactions, stating the reason for your answers, this point, iron oxide plus aluminium giving rise to aluminium oxide plus iron plus heat, there are many different ways of looking at it. This question has a skill of asking what is your perspective? How are you seeing the reaction as? That's how this can be an oxidation reduction reaction. That's also which can be analyzed. And also it's an exothermic reaction. Both the answers are valid. Now part B, lead nitrate plus potassium iodide gives rise to lead iodide plus potassium nitrate. This is a balanced equation. This is a precipitation reaction and also a double displacement reaction. This is how a student's way of an approach towards a question is observed here. And question number 24, because I said that I would do biology questions in another video. Question number 24, this shows the formation of image by a lens. We have to mark the keywords by focusing on the word lens and not mirror, which is shown by a thick line. There are two lines over here, one thick line on the y-axis and also one thin line on the x-axis. That's how we have a lens which is there in which is here, this lens, and there is an image, there is an object over here and image which is always given in a dotted line. This is a image. Okay, therefore we can see that this is the object and this is the image. Then we can see that the image is magnified, it is erect, and it is a virtual image because it's an erect image. What is that lens which gives an erect image and a virtual image? Now that is the key concept over here. That's obviously a convex lens. Now these are the questions which will be associated with it. We have learned 1 by u plus 1 by v is equal to 1 by f, and all the questions will relate to this based on the sign convention. And now question number 25. Here it's also added here, by the way, for the visually impaired student, there is a description of this question over here and list two uses of such a lens. Here, virtual, erect, and diminished image. That is a reverse of this. If this is a convex lens, that should be a concave lens. Now here question number 25. The basic idea of asking this question is whether the student is able to understand what is a parallel connection and what is a series connection. Parallel connection is something which is visible here. If the student is strong in a parallel connection, then the parallel connection question can be answered. The question is power, which is developed here in the heater X. Power is equal to V into I. That's a voltage into current. The calculations can be done over here. And coming to this question, part B is an either or choice question. They are in series. Now we are focusing on doubling the resistance. When the resistance is doubled, then what happens to Ohm's law? This is what is asked over here. When the resistance is doubled, obviously V is equal to IR. Resistance is remaining constant when voltage is proportional to current. Resistance is doubled, what's the effect? This is the question here. Then the resistors are connected into parallel. Find the ratio of the power 1 to power 2. Power is dissipated for this combination P1, where these resistors are connected in the parallel with the same battery. What's the ratio? Therefore, here they are checking on both the series as well as the parallel connection. Again, another question is given for visually impaired student. That's the lowest resistance which can be obtained by combining these four resistances. What's the resistance which can be obtained? How is a combination? These are the different ways of combining. We can give that answer over here, or there is a justification which is given. This is a competency-based question. There is a justification given when 2 you would use for a room heater. There is a wattage and there is a voltage given here. Then comes to section C, 27 to 33 questions which are there here. Anirudh took 2 metal oxides, aluminum oxide and magnesium oxide. Aluminum oxide and magnesium oxide. Here, there are 2 oxides. Whenever there is an aluminum oxide given, I think students will celebrate because aluminum oxide is an amphoteric oxide and magnesium oxide is a basic oxide. That's how, based on the philosophy of acids turn blue litmus red as well as bases turn red litmus blue, the magnesium oxide should turn blue litmus base. Therefore, it should turn red litmus into blue. Then amphoteric oxide, there is no change when a litmus test is taken. This is to be focused. Does the student know that magnesium oxide is a basic oxide and aluminum oxide is an amphoteric oxide? That is how this is the question, which is an application work. The student has to evaluate. It is a higher order thinking skill question. Then they have copper sulfide and copper oxide to obtain copper from this compound. She was able to extract copper successfully from copper sulfide only. By froth flotation process, it can be from froth flotation process, this can be extracted. Whether the child is able to understand that sulfide ore will move with the froth, this is what is asked basically in this question. I get very happy when the student understands the question. And this is a continuous process. Oh, here we have for the visually impaired students, children with special needs are very, very important. Certain metals are used for making cooking utensils. Definitely the student will try and understand. And this is a broader option of whatever the cooking utensils can be made. They have broader option of right from cast iron to aluminium. Hydrogen gas does not evolve with these metals. They are asking for the reactivity series over here. 28, question number 28, attempt either option A or option B. In this, the series of reactions, what happens when one after the other reaction happens? There is a heat over here. We should focus on a reverse way of understanding. Here, there is a formation of water molecules along with this. Then these water molecules are being removed here. Therefore, we should understand what happens in this. How can sodium carbonate be formed over here? Sodium bicarbonate. From bicarbonate, how water and carbon dioxide are being, carbon dioxide is escaping from this molecule Z. When we have 3 unknown solutions ABC with pH values 6, 8 and 9.5, arrange them in which solution maximum number of hydronium ions are present. Acid individually does not exist as H+. This is what the question is all about. We need to make the students understand that H plus ion does not exist as it is. It exists only in the form of hydronium ion. Therefore, how is the pH? The lower the pH, the more acidic it is. This, whether the child knows that the lower the pH, it is more acidic or not, is the question here. And or we can also answer this question when bee sting is treated with soda paste. That means it's a base. When are we going to treat something with a base? That is bee sting. Bee sting must be acidic. That's the reason why soda paste is used. And farmers treat with quicklime. They don't want any soil to be acidic. That's the reason why they use quicklime over here. These are the application work or concepts for the student. And ancient sculptures and marble structures are conserved by treating them with certain chemicals. Marble structure, how is it conserved? This is again an application question. How the water is used by leaves of the plants for photosynthesis, but rather than watering the leaves, why we water the soil? That is, whether the student is aware of the xylem and phloem. That's the concept over here. Then, definitely a question will appear on hypermetropia and myopia, because this is quite common for every person sooner or later has to undergo this kind of blurred vision, whether it is in young age, old age, middle age, everyone has to pass through this stage. That's why the hypermetropia and myopia, which is quite prevalent, is asked over here. And how is hypermetropia different from myopia? What's the fundamental difference? And what's the relationship? Question number 32, what's the relationship between the resistance R of a wire with the area of cross-section? Use mathematical symbols. Symbols are important here. Using the formula, this is a straight memory question wherein the resistance is taken into consideration. How area of cross-section, inverse proportionality, is taken into consideration. The length of the wire, there is a formula for this. That formula has to be taken care of. Question number 32, how the resistance R is equal to rho L by A, that is specifically asked to define the resistivity of the material. That means very small, 1 unit by 1 unit, how is it going to change? Then question number 33, how the magnetic compass needle will deflect based on the strength of the wire. Based on the strength of the wire. If the wire is single, alone, one loop, then how is the deflection? The student would have observed this lab inducted experiment. Then the more number of turns are there, the deflection will be stronger, closer. And how the deflection, however, will change and weaken when the distance is from the conductor is increased. This is the concept which we understand here. Then question number D. Okay, for visually impaired student, deflection of compass. How the deflection of compass is affected with the current carrying wire, and how when it is placed, when the circuit is closed, how is the electromagnetic effect which takes place? These are the questions which are associated. One thing to be noted is the visually impaired students do not have any other benefit except from describing the question here. For section number D is question numbers from 34 to 36. They are long answer questions, but long answer questions are always broken up into various parts. That's how substitution reaction here, question number 34, either A or B. 34, substitution reaction. How saturated hydrocarbons, on the contrary, which is unsaturated hydrocarbons, justify the valid reasoning. How is it thinking? Methane and propane and their isomers as fuels. How are they going to, which one is a stronger fuel? This is what we got to comment on this, because methane is one carbon and propane is third carbon. Therefore, that's how is the chain affecting the strength of the fuel, and what's a homologous series. Having spoken about 1 carbon and 3 carbon, definitely it's a valid question to ask for a homologous series. And how ethane is burnt for welding. that is, presence of oxygen is important rather than the presence of air in order to avoid soot. That's how question, either there is an or choice over here, long chain carboxylic acid and long chain sulfonic acid questions are given. How the process of cleansing action, how the student should focus on installing softening agent here, and hard water, why it should be removed. This is a future career question for the student. They can pick up a career from some of the questions. How is an ester formed? Where is ester used? What's the process of esterification? This is given over here. Now, question number 35 is a bio question. And question number one question in biology will definitely be given for systems. Systems question is important. And here again, we work on the complexity of series as well as parallel connections. Earlier question, when it was small question or a small mark question, we have focused on series and we have focused on parallel connections independently. But here there is a combination. As the question paper moves from section A to section D, the strength of questioning and the competencies also will be different. Now then, if they have this here, do the children understand that A and B are resistances or not, and they are resistances where heat is generated? Here there are two lamps. Lamps give out heat with voltage, current, the power. Any question can be asked over here. The resistance, how to be calculated, how the value of resistance can be calculated over here. For the visually impaired students, whenever there is a diagram given, the visually impaired students also will have a question. Calculating the cost of using the fans and lights per day and the press for 60 days. This is 1 unit. How many units are you accumulating? For here, the student has a knowledge that it is payment policy. Every time how they are going to pay. This is what is followed. And Joule's law, wherein heat is given with electric equipment. That's a Joule's law question. And here there are two resistances which are connected in series and parallel. This is a combination over here. How are they going to act with it? 37 to 39 is how various questions in the electrolysis are giving rise to various products at anode and cathode. Why different products at anode and cathode? The teacher must have explained. You can also watch my another video on competency-based questions which are given in the CBSE. Therefore, you can derive the names of this, why caustic soda is formed over there. Therefore, back calculation is also important as a skill for the student. Now, Mohan and what's the IUPAC name? There is a chemical name for everything. What is that IUPAC name? Then there is a question, when electricity and light chapters are there. One question we have seen earlier that it's a combination of lenses. And the second question we see here is a combination of mirrors. You have curved mirror, you have a lens over here, and you also have a lens over here. And you have a plane mirror. You have lens, mirror, a lens, and a plane mirror. What's the use of a plane mirror? How the lateral inversion takes place? How the focus light forms? And how the eye receives this simple parallel rays pointing at a focus, lateral inversion, and how from focus infinite rays are formed. This is a very beautiful question which is given. And the next question, there are lenses over here. During one of his travels, he found himself on the edge of an island without any mode of communication. He thought he would light a fire on the beach, and traveling boats or ships could see that fire and come to give him a ride. He ran out of lighters and matchsticks, but he had a reading glass. What did he do? We know that parallel rays focus for a convex lens. That's how fire is generated from the parallel rays. There is a scorching rays from sun. Does the student know that the parallel rays focus at a particular point? They are very powerful and it can ignite fire. What's the reason? Under which condition this can form both real as well as virtual images? The teacher must have done this experiment in the lab. This is the analysis of the question paper. There is not much of description which I gave. The student can very well understand that these are the questions and every question is associated with skill. Hope you all like the analysis of the question paper. Thank you so much. If on any specific question you need any greater analysis, please do let me know. I will do it for you. Thank you very much. Teacher can also redo the analysis in the classroom so that it is easy for the students to understand then and there, because CBSE question papers are solvable. They are not barriers to anybody. Thank you so much.